Hey everyone, thanks for watching NibblenFlix, the podcast where snacks meet cinema, and we chew from everything from buttery popcorn to box office buzz. I'm your host, Jeff Reed. Hit the like button to get more eyes on this video, and if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and you get notified when we upload new content on the channel. And in this video, we're going to be discussing about the movie Him. Now, is it a touchdown in a Super Bowl to win the game, or is it like throwing an interception from the goal line to lose a Super Bowl, like Russell Wilson? Let's talk about it. Him centers on Cameron Cade preparing for the USFF League Draft Combine until an attack by a Seth's fan threatened to end his career before he began. Just when all hopes fades, his idol, legendary quarterback Isaiah White, invites him to train at his private combine. Isaiah wants to pass the torch to him, but wants to put him through the ringer just to make sure that he's a worthy successor. However, what starts as the opportunity of a lifetime soon twists into something more dangerous, as Cam discovers the true cost of chasing greatness. Directing the film is Justin Tipping, this is his second movie that he has directed. The first one was Kicks. And starring in the film is Marlon Wayans as Isaiah White, a legendary quarterback for the San Antonio Saviors, Tariq Withers as Cameron Cade, a young football player who was mentored by Isaiah and is promised to be the new big thing, and Julia Fox as Alyssa White, a social media influencer and Isaiah's wife. So I see a lot of confusion, a lot of people with thinking this is a Jordan Peele film. It's not. He did not direct the film. He did not write the script of the film. He had nothing to do with the creativity of this film at all. He's just basically like an executive producer. So what he did, or what his company did, they purchased the rights of this film to put it in either on streaming or put it in the movie theaters, and he usually buy films to put them into the movie theater, something that he likes. He actually goes, meet with the director, watches the film with them, and decides if he wanted to purchase the film or not. This is one of the films that he felt that was very good and have an opportunity to make some money in the box office. And he's done this before. He did this with Monkey Man. He helped Monkey Man get into the movie theaters. And he tried to get Weapons, the movie that came out this year, and was outbid. I think that was pretty much public how disappointed he was not getting the rights of that film. And Warner Brothers made a lot of money off of Weapons. So we know that his company does this. So he tried to do this as well with this film too. And at the time, the movie was actually called Goated. But unfortunately, another movie was coming out called Goated. Was basically like an animation film that is like kind of like a story about Steph Curry's life, something like that, know how to be an underdog, whatever. So they actually trademarked the name Goated before Jordan Peele's team actually had an opportunity to do that. And they had to change the movie title from Goated to Him. That's kind of awesome that Jordan Peele wants to help other directors, other indie directors get opportunities to put their movie in the movie theaters and get a big theatrical run. I think that's awesome. And I hope he continues to do that. But anyway, if you haven't ever seen our videos before, we actually break it down in 3 segments, and that is the good, the bad, and the final verdict. So let's start talking about the movie Him. What I like about this film is how they show athletes dealing with the inside stuff, like the stuff that you don't see on camera, like behind the scenes, the off-season stuff, dealing with fandom, how crazy fans can be and how athletes can look at fans sometimes, where they're, charging up to them to get an autograph and stuff like that. That could be spooky and scary, where you don't know what this person wants. They're coming at you because you're a pro athlete, but how they're going to treat you, what they're going to do to get you autograph or whatever they want. It could be sometimes scary. They also show them dealing with the agents and how they deal with the agents trying to make them do stuff they don't want to do. How owners treat them like meat, like their fresh meat coming in, season them up to the point where they use them, beat them up, and then throw them out and bring in the new meat now. So you see those things, and I thought that was very important. Also, like dealing with family, dealing with outside and like distractions. Like, are you that type of player who's going to turn off your phone and just tune out everything, even your social life, in order to meet the goals that you're trying to meet as being great as you can be? Like, are you going to turn off your phone? Are you going to ignore your family? Are you just going to focus on football or the sport alone? And even there was times in this movie where Marlon Wayans' character even said his priorities is football, family, and God. So this shows you what a good athlete or a great athlete would do in order to meet to the maximum levels to be looked at as the greatest. And I like how they did that. They show that they were willing to go far in extent to show that they would do whatever it takes to be the greatest. And that's even if you're dealing with the injuries, Is it like, do you want to rush back and get back on the field? Like, should you properly heal before you get back on the field? What kind of medication or kind of treatments are you taking? Is it really ethical to really doing some of the stuff just to get back on the field? Thought that was really good as too. And also when it comes to actually like showing them trying to get a rep down, like say that they're trying to throw a 25-yard pass and for a certain route, like a go route or a post, and they want to make sure the timing is right. How many times are you going to do that to make sure it's hit perfectly, so while you do it in the game, it feels seamlessly? I felt like they did that. They did it to where kind of like took it too far at sometimes, trying to show the extent of why Marlon Wayans' character was such a great, but I felt like some athletes actually do that. I thought that was great that they actually put that in there. They would do that. They would turn off the phone, not talk about anybody, just focus on football, go watch film. You know, your family wants to go out and do something. Dad, I want to come? Nah, I watch this film. Like, I think they put a little, if you know who Tom Brady is, they put a little Tom Brady in that. They said that's one of the reasons why him and his wife got a divorce, because he put football before everything, and came to the point sometimes Tom Brady did some things, you know, during off season that you and I might think is weird. Like he ate avocado ice cream because the ice cream, you know, made with the ingredients in this avocado ice cream kept his body nourished to the point where his oxygen levels was at his peak point. So every time he got on the field, either practice or the game, he was at his high peak when it comes to oxygen levels. And actually showed some things about that too and talked about it as well. So I actually love that part of the film. You know, like I said, as being someone who played sports and also worked in the NFL, and seeing these guys grind, like really grind, and what they go through, and seeing players staying there overnight, watching tape, film, and trying to figure out their next opponent, or just watching themselves, see what they can improve on. I actually like that they put that in the film. I really do appreciate that a lot. So the movie is more style than substance, and some people are gonna like it, and some people are not gonna like it. But the visuals in this movie is very stunning, and the shots are very creative. It's very art house type of film. That's how the cinematography in this film. They use imagery, visuals, certain shots to try to tell a story or metaphor of what's going on in the film, and it could work. Like I said before, and it could not work for some people, but I did like how they used certain things. There was something in this film they did when it comes to like impact with the body. They actually used like this MRI kind of image kind of thing, so you see what's exactly going on with the body when the body takes a hit. I thought it was really cool. And when they did some things like building tension, and how they used the zoom, then maybe zoom out, or just a straight shot, just to show something creepy going on, or say there's some killing that's going on in the film. They don't actually just show you the killing, but they show you basically the aftermath of that. But they show you like the stabbing going down. You don't see who's getting stabbed, nothing like that. You see blood squirting. I thought the things that we're doing to make that creative as well was very beautiful. It's kind of like the movie that came out earlier this year that I did not like at all, and that was Hurry Up Tomorrow. How that was very visually beautiful, how they try to use visuals and imagery to try to push story along. This one kind of does the same thing too, but still this one does a lot more better, because it does have somewhat of a storyline in it. But I can see a lot of people, you know, being very frustrated when it comes to actually watching this film. But it looks beautiful. The cinematography film is beautiful. And if it does get nominated for best cinematography, and like I said before, it's very art house. It's like everything they're trying to do on screen is kind of like a metaphor. And I think they do a good job. I think that they just do it too much to a point where it might just turn the viewers off. But at least it's something beautiful and entertaining to look at, though. So Marlon Wayans played Isaiah White, quarterback, you know, at the end of his career, is on his last legs, and he's trying to find his successor. Is basically Cam. He brings him in, tests him out, put him through the ringer to see if is he worthy to meet up to his level. Is the hype about him really true? What are you willing to do to sacrifice to be the greatest? And I absolutely thought it was funny that they actually made his character have one more Super Bowl win, or one championship win, than Tom Brady. 7-7 that Tom Brady has yet. I thought that was hilarious. However, this role is exactly why I felt like Hollywood's been sleeping on Marlon Wayans. I just felt like he has the capability to be a great actor, showing like a ton of range. Where you see Isaiah Thomas, as Marlon plays him, as this charismatic. Yes, he is funny. There's humor in it with him, and he's a tough mentor. But then he can just switch it real quick out of nowhere, be a psychotic, terrifying character where you don't know what he's going to do and what limits he's going to push Cam and everybody else to get to show a point. Are you willing to do this sacrifice to get to greatness? And I thought he played this character so well, just showing how he can change it up real quickly. It's not easy to do, where you're smiling, joking real quick, and boom, you gotta be this terrifying guy out of nowhere. And I felt like Marlon Wayans did that. He did a fantastic job playing this character. And I hope he gets more opportunities to do this, because this proves, again, like I said, when you're watching Marlon on screen in this movie, you don't see funny guy. You see a guy that he's a good mentor. He's giving me tough love, but I don't know when this dude's going to switch off and go nuts on me. And I thought that was really, really good. And I thought it was an amazing job that he played his character. You finally see more evidence that Marlon Wayans is a great actor, and I hope we get to see more of him. Tariq Withers is an actor I want to see in better films. I feel like every time I see him, it just impresses me more. And that even started from the infamous episode from Atlanta to I Know What You Did Last Summer to now to this film. I just feel like everything he does, he just get better and better as an actor. And even though he's a Florida State guy, he actually did play football in college. I'm a Canes guy. I kind of say I do like him, but if you understand the rivalry between the two schools, you get it. If you don't, then look it up. I understand that they hate between the Noles and the Canes, but this is actually the first Noles I do like. But anyway, him as an actor, I felt like he was able to keep up with Marlon Wayans on the screen. He did a fantastic job showing a character going through the kind of like this wide-eyed deer in the headlights kind of guy coming from college into the pros. Like, how do you deal with certain things? Like, unfortunately, he got injured by a crazy fan. How does he handle the injury? Does he come back too soon to show guys that, hey, the injury is not going to stop me from meeting my potential as a professional athlete? And also shows what things is he willing to do? What is he willing to sacrifice when it comes to his morals? Like, do you trust everything that Isaiah White is telling you? Like, do you understand that doing this route might be dangerous, might be harmful for you and also, your loved ones? And I like how he's going through certain things, and also they show what goes on when you deal with a head injury and what might be going on and the lingering effects of that too. And I felt like everything he did in this film just shows why he's an upcoming actor, and we need to keep our eyes on him. And hopefully he gets in better movies with better roles, because I think there's something there with this character. He just has the it factor when it comes to acting, and also have the look and understanding what his role is and actually portraying it. And I felt like he did a great job illustrating what a rookie goes through trying to get in the NFL, learning stuff from a veteran, crushing the veteran's methods and ideologies and skills and training techniques and all that stuff, and trying to compare and see, hey, is it ethical? Do I need to do this to fit in and become great? And will it help me achieve my goals? I thought Tariq did a fantastic job portraying that in this film. And I just, like I said before, I just hope I see him in better films. So there's a scene in this movie, and unfortunately there's not enough of it, where you get these two characters together, and this scene is really good. And I wish we had more, because it shows the chemistry of these two actors and showing them in two different aspects, where you got one who's done it all and did it a certain way, trying to teach the young blood, basically, this is the way to do it, but don't do it like me, be a better man. And I felt like that scene was so captivating. Like, every time you saw them in the scene together, it doesn't matter if it was a terrifying scene or intense scene or a scene just talking about how to be great and what to look for and stuff like that. I felt like the chemistry of these two characters was so good, and I wish we got more of that, because this would have made the movie more stronger. So this movie doesn't have a lot of horror in it, and I know it's classified as horror, but it's not. It's more of like built-in tension and creepiness, and seeing Marlon Wayans' character go from tough mentor to psychopath, horrific person in a snap. And they try to use like some of these elements. There are some parts where it's very, very creepy. Some things do happen in this film. It's like, oh, whoa, that's some creepy stuff. And they do a good job with that. They use no music at all sometimes, or they might use a certain noise, something like that, just trying to show that there's some creepiness. And I felt like it was more like a lingering effect of an injury of a character in this film, rather than it was more like horror. But they did a good job like building up to it. I think they did a little bit too much sometimes, to the point where you're kind of disappointed that you didn't get a good payout from that. However, I would not call this a horror film. I just feel like moments that make you feel uncomfortable. Also, what the thing that's really going to make it or break it for it is either, and it really broke it for me, is just there's no really much meat to the story. It's a very thin plot, and there's not really a lot going on with the storyline. As I've said before, the movie focuses way too much on style rather than substance, and there's really no a lot of story in this movie, and you don't get a lot of character development and interaction when it comes to these two characters. Where I said before, when you see these two characters having a conversation, having a scene between them, the chemistry between the two actors is so good. I wish we got more of that. The movie just focused too much on making these interesting visuals and imagery and try to build all this tension of creepiness, and then it just doesn't really pay out, and they do it so much to where the movie becomes very predictable if you just pay attention to some of the secondary characters, which is Julia Fox and Jim Jeffries. If you just pay attention to what they're saying, you already know kind of what's going to happen at the end of the film, and it kind of hurts the film because you got two actors doing a great job between Marlon Wayans and Tyreke Withers is doing a great job when it comes to doing their character, and you just want more from them. You just want more of like in depth when it comes to their relationship. You just want to see where these two people are from. And it comes to a point where, like, how many times you're going to give us some interesting visuals instead of giving us something that has more meat, so we have more depth to the character. So when we get to the end of the film, everything kind of feels more at higher stakes than what it really is. And as I said before, it made it to a point where you already know what's kind of going to happen. So you're not really in shock and awe what really happens at the end, even though there's something else that happens in the end, which was like, okay. But the point of that is just like they should have focused more on the characters and more of the horror element, more of the intensity, the creepiness, and building these characters where they're have enough stakes, so when we see what we see at the end, it just feels like it's all been paid off, and it just doesn't do that. So the end of this film is either gonna make it or break it for you, and you could be tuned out already because there's not a lot of story going on, or you could be in this film and be like, what the heck? Now, I completely understand what the message was, what metaphor they were trying to portray. I got the message, I get it. But I just felt like it was executed so bad. Like, it just was not earned at all. If they would have taken the time of developing these characters, developing a story, get you more heavily invested in what's going on. And once everything is revealed and you see the twists and all that stuff, which is predictable, like I said, if you pay attention to secondary characters, you know what's coming. What they do in this last scene, I just feel like it would have felt more earned, but it comes off like a very cheap Timu Jordan Peele, and I don't know if this was the selling point for him to buy this film, but that's what it felt like. It felt like he watched the scene. He was like, oh, I see what you're doing here. Oh, man, you did that? That's what I would do. You put some Peele in your reel? Man, let me buy your film. That's what I feel like. I feel like that scene was a selling point of him buying this movie, and I just felt like everything that was going on in this film, everything they could have done, everything, missed opportunity, and they do this, it just felt like it wasn't earned. It was just, and it wasn't executed well either. I just felt like everything they did in this scene was too forced, and it just makes the film less enjoyable and more a disappointment, because I felt like the elements was here. Everything was there for them laid down and just have all the foundation, and they just didn't bring what I thought they were going to bring to this film. And so the final verdict. So I had to score this film 2 out of 5 snacks, and that's because even though I enjoyed what they show, like the aspects of athletes, what they deal with off the field, and everything when it comes to them trying to meet their fullest potential as athletes and what they had to deal with and what they got to figure out and sacrifice and stuff like that, I did like that aspect. I love the visuals of the movie. I thought they were stunning at times. There's great art house shots that is very stunning and very creative, and just the performances from Marlon Wayans and Tyreke Williams was absolutely superb. I just wish we got a lot more when it comes to the characters, when it comes to interaction and developing the characters, and I just hope both of these gentlemen get opportunity to portray and show off and showcase their talent and their range that they are as actors. But this movie just brings so much disappointment when it comes to like the visual aspects, and you get these good performances from these actors, and they just use style over substance, and there's just so much they missed on the table when it comes to developing these characters, developing the story, that it just becomes so blah. And then even when you have these intense moments and it doesn't really lead into it, they overdo it again and again, to the point where it doesn't really give you any substance at all. And then when you get to the finale of the film, and they go the route that they go, it just doesn't feel like it was earned. I'm very disappointed with this film because I thought the premise of the film was really good, and I thought they were leaning into more of just building the story between these two characters on different ends of the spectrum. He's got one guy's about to retire and still wants to keep this #1 spot, and you got the guy who's going to replace him. I thought they could have used that, just add a certain element of horror into that too when it comes to these characters. Maybe this is something supernatural, just anything. It just, they missed that part too. It's not a horror film. It's more just creepy moments and just great acting, making you feel uncomfortable rather than something really horror. But this is how I feel about the film. Let me know what you guys feel. Did you see the movie Him, or are you going to see the movie Him? Let me know. Do you agree what I said or disagree? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about the film. And until next time, just keep munching, keep watching, keep it real, and take care. And I'll see you next video. Goodbye.